and welcome to the Worn Out Podcast, formerly the Unwinding Podcast, formerly the Worn Out Podcast. We're sticking with Worn Out this time, we promise, with your hosts, Blake, co-founder of Worn and Wound.
Zach Weiss, another co-founder of Worn and Wound.
Yep. And if you're not familiar, this is the Worn Out Podcast is really just a casual conversation between me and Zach. Old heads here at Worn and Wound, here from the beginning.
Been in this industry for a really too long, one might say, at this point. So we're cranky.
We're cranky. We're worn out.
And
there was a time where we switched to unwinding because we got some feedback that worn out was maybe a little bit too negative. But I think if you know us, you know that it's meant in jest. Slash, it is very serious, and we are worn out.
Explains things exactly.
But this is worn out, and this is a new format. Prior to this, it was really just a podcast. Now it's in video form, so you get to see us, which is exciting.
Because the word podcast means nothing. Yeah, everything is pod and video, and
and it's all casted somewhere.
It's all cast.
Yeah. And the intention here, aside from this first episode, is for it to really be like a guest-focused series. So having people on from around the industry that we think are interesting or that we've been working with for a long time. And I think talking about things from a little bit more of like a behind-the-scenes perspective. So that's what this is all about. And I think for this inaugural relaunch episode, we kind of just wanted to, get a run-through of the new set, kind of update you guys on what we've been working on, what we've been thinking about, and what we're looking forward to for the rest of the year. And then solicit a little bit of your feedback in terms of what you want to see from this series. Do we want to do a wrist check?
Yeah, I mean, it's a watch podcast.
All right, so what are you wearing?
What am I wearing? I'm wearing my Gallet Flying Officer 24-hour chronograph.
Okay.
That I picked up at our Texas Wind-Up Watch Fair from the Watch Preserve. Reason I'm wearing it, well, other than I hadn't worn it in a minute, I was like, oh, that would be a nice watch to wear, is that we actually have folks from the Watch Preserve in office today because we're doing a little like vintage watch trunk show in the showroom, which probably over by the time this is getting aired, but the kind of thing we want to do in the showroom. So, pay attention because it'll happen again, hopefully. Yeah.
And I think they have a Gallet chronograph out there too.
Yes, we definitely chose one. They had a few that they got right after this one, and they serviced them up and stuff. And I was like, yes, please bring one.
Yeah.
Gallets are very nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, their selection is cool. It doesn't feel like the typical.
No.
Feels kind of approachable, so that's nice.
Yeah. Not to derail this conversation talking about vintage stuff, but we've tried the vintage thing before in the store, and like you end up down that like Datejust road, and it's just like, Datejusts are great. There's a market for them, but everyone else does it. So like it didn't really represent, I think, our store or our, aesthetic. So we have Ben Roos's and Zodiacs and Gallets and like cool watches that are also more like under 2K rather. So this is the selection that I feel like vibes with us.
Yeah, I feel like, and this is just, I don't want it to sound like complaining, but I feel like a lot of like the vintage conversation or collecting space from a distance, I don't want to like assume too much, but like it just has become a lot about trying to acquire the same stuff, like you were saying, like certain vintage Rolexes and vintage this and that, just like it just can kind of get boring. And then you meet the occasional like super vintage watch nerd and they have something on their wrist that you've never seen before. We had an event at the showroom like last week, was it? And a gentleman had like a crazy watch on that like neither of us had ever seen. Do you remember the watch that he was wearing?
The Seiko.
Yeah.
It was like the second Seiko quartz watch, I think he said. And I'm not going to remember the details about it, but it had like a flashing red light on it as an indicator. Never, ever heard of this thing before. But it's like the follow-up to the Astron or something. But super cool.
Yeah. So I'm sure to some people that's like, oh yeah, that's the Seiko, blah, blah, blah. But I think oftentimes in the conversation about vintage, it's like those sort of like quirky things are lost. And the guy who was wearing this, I feel like every time I see him, he has like a different weird old watch on. So, I feel like that's more the vibe of what's
for sure
sitting out in the showroom right now.
But you have to get to your watch.
Oh yeah, right. So I'm wearing the new Paul and Mara dive watch. I think it was at that launch event that we saw that watch in the showroom. Yeah, we had these in the office. We had samples in the office for photos and getting ready to have them in the shop and all that kind of good stuff. And I kind of saw them and immediately knew like, okay, I feel like I'm going to want one of these. I couldn't decide on the blue or the gray. And I ended up going with the gray because it feels a little bit more versatile. Something you can kind of like throw color on via the strap or wear it a little bit more straightforward. So it's not just like a summer watch, but I'm loving it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that it got that kind of like ghost bezel feel, but there's nothing at all Fotina or even like it doesn't attempt to look like a vintage watch. It has some, it's kind of like a barrel case and whatever, so you could be like, oh, it's sort of 70s-ish, but it feels modern in the end of, the
Totally.
day.
Yeah, and I think that, it the case finishing, I think, in terms of spending time with it was the thing that kind of surprises me a little bit. Just like how much I'm noticing certain details or just the quality of it in general. So, yeah, super happy with it. Yeah,
cool.
That's what I'm wearing. So I think like I was saying, I think for this conversation, we kind of just want to, for lack of a better way of putting it, shoot the shit and see what we've been up to and what we've been like interested in and all that kind of stuff. I kind of wanted to chat with you, and so you can share with the audience, like, you've been on sort of like a pickup journey, an acquisition journey of late.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked in other forums about you sort of developed this fascination of like more of the sort of hot horology space. I don't know. You can phrase it however you want to put it, but your tastes have sort of evolved over time. Whereas like maybe in the past you were a little focused on sport watches or military watches. But you've like had some really interesting pickups lately, and I just thought I don't know if everybody knows what those are, if you care to share them.
Yeah, I mean, so the most recent watches I've received was a Garrick that I actually purchased a year earlier. They are made to order, so they take a while to make, but that's sort of part of the journey of them, because you do customize everything on it, basically as much as you want to some extent. And you make the watch that you want, but it's then, not just like they send an order to a factory and they get back parts. They hand make everything. So, it's really like exquisite high-end watchmaking, which, the whole like haute thing, I don't know where people draw the line there, but I'm not like a Crivia or anything like that. Like this is, well below that. The watch, it's a very expensive watch, well more than I thought I would have spent 10 years ago on a watch, but it's, like 10K-ish, not 70. But yeah, it's, for the price, it's probably one of the most handmade watches you can get, and it's all made in England, which is like just super cool. Like you can, I know the guy who polished my bridge is named Alex. Like that's neat, So that was one of the watches, and then the other one, it was a semi-recent pickup, was the Habring 2 Joseph, which is a really cool watch that I feel like not very many people like actually know exists, because Habring is like the least like outward facing brand you can imagine. Like they're an indie brand and they have their collectors and they seem to sell their watches and do just fine. Like they almost like don't need more communication. Obviously there's more reasons to communicate out than just getting more business. But it's a watch that I just, clued into just because as a fan, and it is a regulator with dead stop seconds and a power reserve, which is a very unique combination of things. The only other regulator dead stop seconds on the market is a Longa, and that's several times more expensive than the other one. Love to have that someday, but that's also like a constant force escapement and stuff like that. So this is just this super unique watch, and it feels like it's like these two watches really just feel like me and watches. You know what I mean? Like these are the watches that define me in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with the Garrick, because you literally designed certain components of it.
Yeah. And I like redid the indices entirely on it, so it's like my.
So you fully designed the dial and.
Yeah, there's the layout is the layout, right? Yeah. So it's a regulator also. So like the location of the subdials and things like that. But yeah, I redesigned the indices entirely. I chose the surface, which is all Clos de Paris, or hobnail, as they call it in the UK, I think. But yeah, it's like their typography, other than their logo, isn't there, that they show as like their example watch. But I think a lot of people go with the kind of example watch, but then change all the colors and hands and things like that. Yeah. I actually went with their hands, but in a combination that they'd never done before. So they don't typically use the minute hand at the center that I used, and they were like, oh, that doesn't work. Like, that's not going to look good. And then when I showed them the red, they're like, that's going to look good.
Yeah.
So
what's and that's a regulator too. What's your fascination with regulators? What's the deal?
That's a good question. And I don't really know per se, other than I think I think I like it when watches just display time in a different fashion. And that's definitely something I think that my collection has gone towards. Like, rather than necessarily complications, like you could call a regulator a complication if you wanted to, but there's nothing in addition to telling time. It's just time like blown up in the dial in different ways. You know, also like small subdials where the time is like on the Bel Canto or the Breguet I have, like the time is a little dial offset. I think it just makes the dial more dynamic and opens it up to different sort of, you know, layout and graphic solutions. They just appeal to me, I think, because of that. I think I used to go for chronographs because of that more, and now I actually have less chronographs. Save this one.
Yeah. You also had some service woes this summer.
I've had some servicing done.
We often talk about it, which is like watch collecting is fun, especially collecting either higher end pieces or older stuff or more complicated things. But then the service comes, and sometimes that can be almost the price of the watch, or so.
Okay, well, just get out of the way. So last year also for my like 40th birthday, I picked up a Longa one, which is the highest end watch I have by far. And it's, you know, I don't think I'll be going above that anytime soon. I can't go above that anytime soon. It's absolutely spectacular watch. I really could wear it every day. Similar offset time, and like that one also has a big date and other things, and it's a Longa.
And honestly, not to interrupt, but like seeing you wear that watch on a regular basis, I think has sort of contextualized Longas or at least that one for me in a different way that makes it feel much more wearable. Like it seems like a casual watch. You know,
I definitely picked the one that I got. It's the 101.029 because it's like the most casual version of the Longa one. It's still a precious metal watch, but it's a black dial with lume. It's the first luminous one they made. So like, I feel like if it was a steel case and like Longa wasn't Longa, you'd be like, oh, that's just like a funky kind of weird sporty watch, you know? But I actually feel like, you know, we worked a lot with videographer Chris Coe, and he at one point picked up like a little Longa, like a 34 millimeter, and seeing him wear it a lot, I was like, oof, like that really impressed upon me. Sort of the same thing. That's like, you could just pull this off. Like, but anyway, Longas, buy them serviced or new. Because the servicing is notoriously expensive. And it was very expensive. And because this watch was they only made the watch I had from like 2003 to 2007. It's an older model. Service history was unknown. It was running pretty well, but it was running slow. And then it got a little like cloudy. So it got a little moisture in it, which is like, gotta send it in now immediately. Brought it in. If they do it in New York, it's one price. But if it needs a little more, it's got to go to Germany, and it's another price. So mine got the full German spa treatment, and So, but you know what? It's. I also had the case refinished, and it's like new now. And I don't think I've actually let it die since I got it, and it is dead on. Like they made it 100% accurate. It's like, but yeah, I mean that was buying another watch. So the service there for sure.
But it also seems like the kind of watch that you have no intentions of getting rid of anytime soon.
No, that's like
feels like a you watch.
It feels like a me watch for sure. No, I, you know, whatever. You can't predict the future, but like my collection right now, I don't feel like I want to sell any of them. At all, and that's sort of the predicament. Is that like if I want to get something new, I'm really like in a crunch because I shouldn't put more money into it, but I really don't want to let go of any of the watches I have. So and forgive me if you said it and I missed it. How long was the service? It was about 5 months or so. It was exactly as long as they said it was. So I got it back like, right when they like, you know, I think it was like 5 months, and like that worked out to be like around July, and then I got a phone call in July. You know?
And do they let you know what's going on while they have it?
Well, you get a what do you call it?
Like a tracking of some kind?
No, oh my God. Like the estimate. The estimate.
Yeah.
And the estimate says what they need to do in broad strokes and gives you some optional things as well, which I did not do.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's like, they offer you replacing the dial and the hands and things like that, which I didn't think it needed to visually. Those pieces are also made of precious metal, so they like that was a few $1,000s that I didn't spend on doing those things. But like I said, I didn't need to do that. But yeah, because of the movement needed like a full overhaul, and I think actually even a little, at least cleaning there was like, I think a little bit of like there was a little smudgy thing on it at one point, which also could have indicated, and I think this is the real thing, is like, if they think your watch has been worked on by a non-Longa service center, then they are only going to do the most full like level of.
Okay.
And yes, that was the case. Once again, an older Longa.
Yeah.
But yeah, if somebody were to ask me what I learned from this, it's like, buy one that says it's been serviced recently, unless you're fine with spending the additional like $4,000 or $5,000 on a service. You know.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, like talking about like pickups and things this summer. I think I was in like the opposite boat of you because unfortunately life happened, and all of the money that I would have had to spend on fun things this summer ended up going to fixing my dog, which he's doing great, but
service.
My dog had to go in for service twice this year so far for the cost of several watches or one really nice watch. And so I really like this summer have been like very focused on what can I do with my time that is not expensive. And yeah, so that's how I've been just kind of filling my time, but it's been interesting. Just like, just like wanting to do certain things or like being around watches all the time and being like, oh, I'm like thinking about picking that up, or like when life happens and just like things you might have had your eye on and you're like, yeah, I'm going to build towards that. And you're just like, no, you're not. You're like, you're not building towards anything, but I guess that's just kind of the thing that happens, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, several years ago, I mean, I'm sure you recall this, like I had some medical bills I had to pay and I sold off basically every single watch I had.
Yeah.
Like including watches I wish I had now, like Hamilton Chronomatic, Speedmaster, all that stuff. Like,
I forgot that you sold so many watches around.
I got rid of like almost everything. Like and I didn't buy a watch for like a year or two or something.
Yeah.
You gotta pay your bills.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's true.
Bills
I mean,
come
that's
first.
like the practical reality of it. Yeah. No, it's crazy. But I feel like we're running up to sort of like the end of the conversation. I also have a meeting that I have to go to.
It's just this is one of our. This is a meeting.
Yeah, it's true. This is what our meetings are like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for this show moving forward, like I said, we really want it to be more interview focused, and we want to kind of try to build our skills at kind of having these kinds of conversations with third parties. Like, I think you and we've known each other for over 20 years. Like, we slip into this kind of dynamic pretty quickly. Like, I want to be able to have this kind of conversation with people outside of our business and outside of us. But please, if you have any ideas about people that you would want to see on the show, if you have any topics you want us to cover, if you have any questions for us, like, please let us know. You can, you know, email us at info@wornandwound.com. That'll make their way to us, or you can DM us on social media. But yeah, we want to make this show. That's the other thing that I think, you know, again, just not to belabor this, but like, we're trying new things. We're trying to evolve, right? I think, frankly, we didn't talk about it, but what comes with us doing the show is we're not going to be doing A Week in Watches anymore.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, and I think,
did that for a while.
Yeah, we did it for a while. It's a show that we enjoy doing. I think some people enjoy it, but to be perfectly honest, like, it didn't get the kind of traction that we thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of those episodes were me on them, and we did over 100 episodes, and between scripting them and editing them and everything, I mean, it was multiple people, multiple days of work, and then you'd get 2,000 views on YouTube before it fizzle out, and like, it just didn't play with the algorithm well.
Totally.
So that's kind of a thing that sucks, is that you have to accept working for the algorithm. Maybe that's a topic of a different day, but like, you can't actually just do what you want anymore and like be successful on the internet.
No, 100%. I think. Yeah, so, you know, I think we're being transparent. Like, sometimes things don't work, and I think that's an example of something that we loved but didn't work. We want to, you know, we enjoy doing this format. I think people enjoy listening to it, and we're just trying to evolve, you know, moving to video and trying to focus a little bit more on like the interview aspect of it. So let us know what you want to see, what you find interesting. So, I guess that was a fun conversation. Thanks for watching, listening, whatever you're doing, however you're consuming this. And we'll see you next time.